So we have a question today that I will be answering, a relationship question, or actually, it's a question for pretty much anything. How is it that we change that self dialogue? That when we have a particular limiting belief and we want a different outcome, how do we actually shift it? Because our mind tends to go on autopilot without really us knowing. So, how do we shift that? Let's dive right into that. Okay, guys, so first of all, I have been out of it for a while because there's just been so much going on, and that was, I was doing the 15 days of silent meditation and on my own without anything or anyone. And then I was out, and there was the whole situation with Ukraine, and I'm Ukrainian as well, and I was, have family affected by this. And so much change and so much growth. There really have been growth opportunities, and there have been some questions for this reason. I just want to put that out there that I am not working with anyone right now. I'm just working with the clients that I had before. I'm not taking anybody in right now. Not starting to work with anybody new. However, I am answering questions. So if there's anything else coming up for you, anything that you need support with, that of course isn't like a one-on-one session, but I am here to answer your questions and to support you. So we have a question that was really a great one in regards to this person noticed that they had a pattern of, okay, I kind of have, this is all I want, and but I'm also going against that. And there came this question of, well, how can I, one second, where's that? Okay. So let's imagine there's a limiting belief or insecurity that I can't possibly have someone who loves me. How do I work on changing that dialogue to stop me from sabotaging my romantic life? And again, this is not just about romantic life. This is like, I have this belief that I'm not good enough for this job. How can I stop myself from sabotaging and getting actually what I want? Okay. Whether it's a job, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's anything in general, it's like, well, I'm not good enough for it. Whatever that limiting belief is, how do we shift it? Okay. So, first of all, just taking a deep breath into this. I want the videos to begin by being a lot more experiential now, because as great as this information is, you will absolutely not be able to hear it if you're in your mind. Okay, so just coming into the body, this is just gonna take a few seconds. You can do this. Just taking in an inhale into the belly, to the chest, into the nose. Exhaling out, let it go, just coming into the body and really being here now instead of trying to figure out what is it I'm trying to say, because it's not gonna make sense to the mind. And the mind will just feel like it's wasting its time if you don't just really hear what I'm saying, don't really listen to it. Can you first love that limiting belief? Can you not reject it as if there is something wrong with you? Because that's kind of what society is running on here, that there's something wrong with you. Something has to be fixed. Let's fix you. This is what's wrong with you. I know what's wrong with you. Therefore, I can help you. So you should pay me money because I know how to fix you. Can we just get out of that for a moment and come into this limiting belief is just here. It's not even a limiting belief. Let's not judge it as that. It's a belief that I have right now, and I wasn't born with it. No baby's born with the idea of I'm not good enough for love, or yeah, I can't possibly have love. No baby's born with I'm born and I will never get love in my life. That's not possible. It wasn't always there, and it's not always going to be here. And can we just come into this place of, okay, it's just that's a belief that's coming up right now. And a belief is just something that we feel so sure about. And it's usually a thought that we keep thinking, but it feels so real because all thoughts also turn into feelings. So not only is it something you keep thinking, so you keep thinking it's like it's a belief, it's a fact, but also you have your body saying, no, but I really feel it, so it must be true, because those are your emotions. And sometimes, not sometimes, it's actually how it is, but you may not be aware of it right away, that it's also a sensation in your body. So it's kind of like, well, if all of these things are pointing at one thing, then it must be true. You know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it must be a duck. It's not. It's a thought. It's not a duck, it's a thought, and those thoughts can be changed. So the first step is just, I'm not buying into that there's this scar that I have that is this limiting belief that I'm doomed forever in my love life. It's just, okay, that's the thought that's coming up right now. And just acknowledging that it's your power, it's in your power to believe that thought the next moment or not, and to buy into it or not. Okay? And as you do that, and this is really the first step, the second part of this is, what do you want to believe instead? What does that belief look like? So here it can be that I can have the kind of relationship that I want. Okay, what kind of relationship do you want? And I want you to be really specific about it. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want? Getting really specific and really pausing this video and actually writing it down, because if you just go do it in your head, your mind can also always go back and say, well, that's not what I meant, that's not what I said. If it's on paper, first of all, a very different part of your brain gets activated when you're writing with your hand. Okay, it's not the same as typing online. And another thing is that your mind can go back and say, well, that's not what I meant. Like, no, you're getting it out on paper. Okay, so it's not just all over the place, it's coming in right here. We're getting clarity through that. So writing that down, what is it that actually looks like? What is the belief that you want to incorporate instead? And then, how can you give it to yourself? Because that which we seek from outside, it's like, this job will give me this satisfaction, this accomplishment will give me this feeling. And I remember when it was something that was mutually beneficial, and I was getting so frustrated because my coach was telling me that, can you just release your attachment to getting this result? And can you just come from a place of, what can I give? And I was there like, oh, I'm so sorry for wanting, there's nothing wrong with me. Yes, there is wanting to give, but there's also, shouldn't it be reciprocated? And I was getting so frustrated. I was like, I'm so sorry for wanting to have something back from that, which is only logical. And my coach was saying, well, you can't get it until there's that attachment to getting it. And it did not make sense for the longest time. It was incredibly frustrating. But here's the thing. It only makes sense, and this is why we took the breaths at the beginning. This does not make sense in the mind whatsoever. It only makes sense because it's experiential. Until you start living it, until you start doing it, it will not make sense. It doesn't make logical sense to the mind, okay? But it does to your essence, and it does to your being, and that is the part of you that I'm speaking to right now, not the analytical mind. The part that can actually hear and experience that which I'm talking about. So, coming into just observing it is a step number one, without judging. Number two is, what do you want to believe instead? Just consciously creating. You're in control. You're in complete control of your life. You're the master of your life. You're the co-creator. So what do you want to create? And two, you can create it right now. You don't have to wait for any other circumstances. In fact, this is the key from living from the inside out rather than outside in. It's your frequency creates your reality. It's about everything else. That which you want has to chase you because you're already experiencing, you're already living it, you're already in that bliss, that joy, that fulfillment, which you would experience when you would have that thing. Only you already are experiencing, so that thing has to align with you, not the other way around. You're not chasing after it, it has to chase after you. So in this case of relationships, it's like, I want this relationship. Okay, first of all, what does it look like? And as you're so crystal clear on that, how can you feel that right now? How can you give some of these aspects to yourself? It's like, I want to be heard, I want to be seen, I want to be loved, I like that somebody appreciates me and listens to me. How can you do that? Maximize that for yourself right now. And as you create that feeling from within, I guarantee you that it will show up on the outside as well. That or better. That's a whole other video, though, the limitations that we put on ourselves because we're just like, I want it in this particular way. We'll make another video on that, how to come out of that trap. But for now, just how you can make it happen right now, and how can you tune in to that frequency of that which you are and allow it to come to you. So taking one last deep breath in. Last breath for this video, and inhaling, exhaling out, letting it go. And just one more time. Okay. And just a reminder that you are such a freaking powerful creator, and you can create whatever you want if you get out of the mind and if you come into the breath. That's why we've been breathing so much this video 3 times. That's 3 times me having to risk the fact that you're just going to turn this off. And yet this is so important that we keep doing this. So just remember to come into the breath. Remember who you are, and remember that you don't have to live from the outside in. You create that from within, and then everything else just has to align because you said so. You want so. You feel so. And on this note, I'm wishing you a powerful day.